whole trowel saga, it's been an absolute nightmare
Oh,
for me.
I can imagine, Pete, can imagine.
No one wants to rent a trowel off me anymore in case they die.
Wait,
Tracy died.
Tracy's gone.
Now I'm left with her dog, Peter.
Oh, he's alright.
He's a bit depressed.
A little depressed, yeah.
He's got a thing about this owl.
He likes owls, does he?
Yeah, that's the only way to cheer the little bugger up, look. Oh, I dropped it.
Well, I've got to say, Pete, got to say, you know, I've never been, you know, directly or otherwise involved in the death of the mayor and his wife, or
I don't want to talk about it.
or anyone else for that matter. But I have had a bit of trouble with my own recently.
No, you haven't.
I have.
Well,
You know, it all started a few weeks back.
So I was travelling to a remote Bavarian castle where I'd been summoned to inspect a rare butterfly that had been causing havoc amongst the townsfolk. Now apparently it had been biting people and draining them of fluids. And I wanted to see this butterfly for myself, see if it was the elusive Bavarian black I'd read so much about in the National Geographic. So I hopped on the first boat I could and then travelled the rest of the way by owl. It's not conventional, but it got me there. And I was put up in a lovely honeymoon suite inside a 12th century castle owned by a character called Count von Schmetterling.
hello.
Hello.
I was greeted at the door by his butler.
Have you got the right address? The Count?
Come this way, sir. That's my great-grandfather.
Oh, blimey. This is a long corridor.
My lord, this is your room for this evening. Through this mysterious door. The Count, he's sleeping at the minute, so he'll be down for supper if you join him. He likes to share his supper with other people. He's sociable like that.
I wasn't going to turn that down. I said that was fine. I'd have a wander into the village, have a nosy around, look for clues as to the whereabouts of this butterfly.
Funny chap. Yeah, I'm
Of course, as soon as I set foot in the village, all the townsfolk are acting up. They're scurrying past me like I'm some sort of archangel of death.
Just be quiet.
There they are, closing up their shops, battening down their windows and their hatches. It's like there's some sort of air raid going on. I come across this one place that's still open, right? It's a Frankfurter shop. I asked the proprietor of the shop if he knows anything about the recent spate of butterfly attacks, but he says he don't know nothing about any of that. And am I going to buy a Frankfurter, or if not, frankly, I should leave.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Alright, so...
Yeah, thanks. Oh, lovely. That's a lovely
I didn't really fancy a Frankfurter. I'm not the biggest fan of Frankfurters, to be perfectly honest.
Oh,
Plus, I didn't want to spoil my appetite, got dinner waiting for me in the castle.
Lovely stuff.
But I didn't want to be rude.
And you know what, Pete?
What's
You know
that?
what? Actually, I got it for you as a souvenir.
No, you didn't.
There you go.
Oh,
The biggest Frankfurter they had.
oh, thanks, Derek.
That's yours, that is.
Yeah. It's got a smell to it.
That
That's
is
for sure.
German sausage, that is.
Hey, Peter, look at this.
Don't give it to the dog, though.
Get up,
He'll
mate.
have it.
Mate, get
He'll
up.
have it all.
Get up. There we are. Look.
He'll eat it, Pete.
I've got to share everything with this dog now.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. Share your bed, share your Frankfurters.
You want it, mate? You can hear
Of
me.
course he wants it. I knew how much you loved Frankfurters. Now, where was I, Pete? Where was I?
You were telling me the story.
Yeah, I was in the Frankfurter shop, wasn't I? I was
the
in
one
the
here.
Frankfurter shop.
That's right. So I bagged up the Frankfurter and the shopkeeper ushers me out, and by the time I'm outside, well, the place is like a ghost town. It's not even 5 o'clock. It's only just gone dusk. And then suddenly I hear this high-pitched wail coming from the churchyard. So I dash over to the churchyard, careful not to crush my German sausage. And there's this young lass curled up, screaming in agony. She's had a chunk bitten out of her neck. She's had a nightmare. And judging by her neck wounds, we're dealing with quite an aggressive species of butterfly. It must have had teeth like a big cat. And I'll tell you this for nothing. That's unusual in a butterfly.
Blood is fading fast.
Now, part of me felt awful for this lady who was clearly losing a lot of blood and was about to die. So anyway, she's slipping in and out of consciousness, mostly out, and I'm there, asking her details about the butterfly.
Now, madam, I don't mean to be a pain. I know you're in and out of consciousness, and you're on death's door, and your dog's very upset about your passing. But I don't suppose you could perhaps paint me a picture of this butterfly you saw. Perhaps you could draw me a picture of the butterfly if you've got enough energy in your. Perhaps you could use some of the blood from your wound.
I didn't want to sound ungrateful, but it was a fairly generic picture of a butterfly. And then get this, with her dying breath, she uttered one final word.
I'll be back!
She went old Schwarzenegger, Pete.
Alright.
No, she said something else.
What'd you say?
I'll tell you now.
Schmetterling!
Yeah, Count Schmetterling.
Schmetterling!
Schmetterling. I couldn't for the life of me work out what that meant, but then I remembered. I was staying with Count von Schmetterling. The lady was reminding me it was nearly 6 o'clock and I was running late for supper. So I wished her a speedy recovery and made haste back to the castle.
Derek, how nice of you to join me for supper.
Count von Schmetterling, what pleasure to meet you. Sorry I'm late, I got caught chatting to the locals, and I bought a frankfurter.
Nonsense! No need to apologise. It's me who should apologise, because I was rather cocooned when you arrived earlier. Now come, eat!
Oh.
It's a Bavarian nectar, a local delicacy.
Yes, it's very viscous.
Try it.
Delicious.
So I gather you've had a look around.
Oh yes, I had a lovely walk around. I mean, met some of the locals. There was this one girl who was pretty much dead when I spoke to her, but she seemed lovely.
Oh yes, the locals are like that. Dying here, there and everywhere. If they're not dying, they're disappearing.
I know what you mean. Cheers.
It's a terrible thing happening to the people of my village. I do hope they find the culprit.
You see, I had my suspicions, I had my suspicions about this.
Oh, you do you?
I reckon it's a Bavarian black.
Do go on, sir.
Now legend has it, this butterfly appears only once every 200 years under a full moon. And there haven't been any recorded butterfly attacks in this area in 200 years. That is, until now.
Well, it's a good job you're here, Derek. I'd hate for these butterflies to get out of hand.
Don't you worry, sir. I'm an expert in these matters. Nothing will get past me, don't you worry.
Oh, yes. I'm sure nothing will get past you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must adjourn to my study. I've got lots to catch up on after my slumber.
Yeah, I should probably hit the hay myself. Got a big day ahead tomorrow. Got a bit of studying to do as well myself.
So the Count adjourned to his study and I adjourned to my room down a long narrow corridor with all these mysterious rooms. And, I could have sworn I heard these strange noises coming from some of them. Derek! Derek! But I shrugged it off, didn't I? Soldiered on and got to my room. Perfectly safe and sound.
Crikey.
Now, no matter how hard I tried, I could not find a single butterfly that matched the girl's picture. So that's how I knew it had to be the one that wasn't in the book. All that excitement should send me right off to sleep.
Oh, and you know me, Pete, I sleep like a rock.
Oh yeah, Derek, I gotta say, once you get some winks in you, there's no stopping you whatsoever.
40 winks, more like 120 winks. How's that Frankfurter going down, Pete?
It's not Derek, I gotta say. The dog had a nick on it.
Yeah, he'll do that.
And I'm sceptical whether he's got worms. I don't honestly want to touch it now.
Did Trace have him registered with the vets?
Yeah, but I don't know which one.
Oh, it could have been one of those backstreet vets.
Yeah,
They put worms in the dog rather than take them out.
yeah.
Yeah, I know all about those.
But it smells a treat, Derek.
It's a good Frankfurter, it's top class.
I was out like a light, and you know how heavy I sleep, Pete. Tap, tap, tap it went. Well, I shot up in bed, didn't I? I weren't messing about. I went cautiously over to the window where the curtains were flapping like wild. I pulled open the curtains and well, I'll be the first to admit it, I was surprised to see the young lass from earlier hovering outside the window. Smiling back at me. I put it down to that strong Bavarian nectar playing mind games. Suffice to say, I spent the rest of the night under the duvet with my eyes wide open. Next morning I went downstairs and found a note from the Count saying he was out and would see me later.
Derek, I had to leave early this morning for business, but shall reconvene later this evening, for I have some fascinating local information to relay to you. In the meantime, please enjoy yourself. Now, what's it say, Derek?
Full continental breakfast spreads.
Please enjoy a full continental spread breakfast. Why have you written it? In the meantime, please enjoy a full continental breakfast spread. Count Schmetterling.
I decided to make the most of what this historic little village had to offer, so I headed into town to visit the town's famous trowel factory and museum. And Pete, oh, you'd love it, mate.
No, you didn't. You know I've always wanted to go there, Derek.
I know, it's been on your bucket list for years, isn't it, Pete?
Funny you should say that, because I've got new buckets in stock.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, you should have seen some of the buckets they had in the trowel factory.
Oh, I bet they had trowels painted on
God,
them.
blimey, they had matching buckets and trowels.
No.
You've never seen the like.
Oh, maybe I should try that in my shop.
You should try and match them up, colour coordinated trowels and buckets.
I had a wonderful guided tour of the factory with all its original working parts all to myself. And my guide Gustav said it was quiet this time of year because they were out of tourist season.
This is one of the earliest working trowel factories in the area. Dates back to the 11th century. It was originally run by monks who made and used trowels for their vegetable plots.
You probably already knew this, Pete, but I found out that you could only call a trowel
If it comes from the trowel region of Bavaria. That's right. I knew you'd know that. Oh, Pete, what you don't know about trowels ain't worth knowing.
And you can always tell the quality of a trowel by checking for the watermark on the handle. And our watermark is of course the Bavarian black butterfly in honour of the Schmetterling family. Sadly, now all the Schmetterling family members have long passed.
Yes.
Yes, sir, question.
You said all the Schmetterlings were dead. But I've been staying with the Count Schmetterling up in the castle there.
Oh, you are? Goodness. Well, you better come with me, sir.
So they've got all these old trowels there from the Stone Age trowels, which looked mainly like rocks. You know, and they've got medieval trowels and trowels of the future as well. I mean, what's amazing is how little trowel technology has changed over the years. It's been pretty consistent. And then I come across this old photo of the Schmetterling family, and I've got to say, it was very strange and perturbing. One of the blokes in that photo looked a spitting image of Count von Schmetterling. Thing is though, this photo was dated 1855. Now forgive me for sounding surprised, but that is a long time ago if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just paying up in the gift shop when I hear this scream.
Oh my God!
I know.
They've got a gift shop! I bet people are thrilled when they see that, bet they lose their minds!
Well,
Did you get me anything from the gift shop?
I was gonna surprise you.
No.
Hey, I was gonna surprise you.
What'd you get me, Derek?
All right.
Oh my goodness. Is it a trowel?
All right.
Is it a trowel?
Here you go, Pete.
Is
Here
it a
you
trowel?
go. It's not a trowel.
What the hell is it?
It's a butterfly pencil topper.
Oh, right.
To go on top of your pencil.
Yeah, I mean, that's alright, isn't it? What do you think, Peter?
I thought you'd be a bit more confused than that, Pete.
Yeah, it's great, Derek. I'm so pleased to have
Look at that. And it really counterbalances the weight on your wrist.
Oh, you're right, it does.
You'll notice that.
It's like an ergonomic trowel.
It's an ergonomic trowel pencil, that's right.
Pencil topper.
In many ways, a pencil's like a trowel, isn't it? Sort of digs its way into the paper.
Gotta say, Derek, might be where we fall out, like me and Giovanni.
So I'm in the gift shop and I hear this scream and I come rushing out and this woman is tearing off down the street screaming and this man's lying in the middle of the street covered in blood. This woman's shouting, Schmetterling, Schmetterling, and I'm like, yes madam. Apparently the Schmetterlings, you know, are big news in the trowel industry.
Yes, I'm actually staying with Count Schmetterling. He's one of the great-great-grandson of the original Schmetterling settlers.
And there I am, like a right lemon, reeling off all this information I learned from the museum. She's not taking a jot of it in. She's in hysterics. This man's basically a goner. There's nothing we can do for him at this point. But I can track down this butterfly and put a stop to this madness.
Okay, but I'm going to put a stop to this, all right? I'm going to go get my butterfly catching kit, all right? Leave it with me.
So I head back to the castle to grab my butterfly tracking kit. Now I got back to the castle and there was no sign of anyone about, so I headed straight to my bedroom for my kit. But for some reason, I had this urge to have a peep around some of the more forbidden areas of the castle. I had a nosy down this dark stairwell. And at the bottom of it I came to this study area which I gathered must have been the Count's study, owing to the walls being lined with books for studying with. So there I am soaking this all in and I lean against this bookshelf and notice the Count's got an original copy of the A to Z of butterflies poking out. So I pull it out to have a peek. And well, it only opens up a secret door, doesn't it? So at this point I'm fairly sure I'm in breach of some sort of house protocol. But I'm in too deep, aren't I? So I put my head in to see what's behind this mysterious bookshelf. And you know what was there?
Secret air hockey table, full of jelly beans.
Not quite, Pete.
Inside, there was this big cocoon-like structure.
But there was an air hockey table, right? Don't let me down on this.
As it happens, there was an air hockey table just to the right of the cocoon.
Bloody knew it, and the jelly beans.
The jelly beans were there as well.
They were like the balls, were they?
Little balls of jelly beans, yes.
So at this point, I'm starting to piece the puzzle together. I think that butterfly has been secretly hiding behind the Count's study. Right? Perfect hiding place. So now I know where its lair is, I head back to my room to collect my butterfly kit. But just as I'm gathering my butterfly catching equipment, I hear the wind picking up outside my window. The curtains are going again. And all of a sudden this dark butterfly silhouette flies towards me. I quickly match it up with the girl's portrait from the other night. Sure enough, it's a match. It's none other than the Bavarian Black. It swoops in on me and I duck away. This ain't my first tango. It comes again and I wrestle it to the ground. This butterfly's almost indestructible. It's insatiable. I need to call on my special equipment as the butterfly moves in for the kill. And I catch it in my net. Now it's just a small matter of getting it into the jar without having to bring in the stun gun. And then in the morning, I went downstairs and couldn't find a count anywhere. But my job was done. You know, I had to go. So I left him a note apologising for leaving without a proper goodbye. But I had to get the next Sten line back to Fishguard. And it's a long trip by Al to Rosslare from Bavaria. And that was yesterday when I got back, you know, and everything up to that point was fine.
Well, yeah, sounds great.
You know, I thought the trouble was all behind me. But I'm afraid it wasn't, Pete.
No,
I've had a spot of bother.
you don't say.
I've had a spot of bother since, Pete.
But what now?
Maybe I should just show you.